All right, everybody. I'm Logan Alec. I'm a CPA. So as I told you yesterday, Democrats have unveiled a new stimulus proposal they're calling the HEROES Act. They're calling for more stimulus checks. Watch my last video from yesterday to learn more about that. Now, a small part of the HEROES Act is the creation of a roughly $190 billion COVID-19 HEROES Fund administered by the Treasury Department. So a small part of the HEROES Act, which is the big 1,800 plus page bill, is the HEROES Fund. Now, let's be honest here. The HEROES Act is not going to pass in its current form. It's just not. Lindsey Graham said it himself. It's dead on arrival in the Senate. But this isn't to say that possibly, even Republicans who are taking a hard stance here, a wait-and-see approach, may get on board with bits and pieces of what's proposed in the HEROES Act. How much they're willing to probably depends on how the country does over the next few weeks as states reopen. And I think that's the best that Democrats can hope for. Like I said, one aspect of the HEROES Act is this HEROES Fund, and maybe this idea has a shot at bipartisan support. But before I talk specifically about the HEROES Fund, let me say that the HEROES Act proposes to allocate nearly $1 trillion in assistance to state and local and tribal governments and also territories through a coronavirus state fiscal relief fund and a coronavirus local fiscal relief fund overseen by the Treasury Inspector General. And states and local governments have to use this money, and I quote in the language of the bill, to respond to, mitigate, and cover costs or replace foregone revenue not projected on January 31st, 2020, stemming from the public health emergency or its negative economic impacts with respect to COVID-19. Of course, we know that Pelosi was shooting for this. She was shooting for more state and local government funding. And obviously, some of these $1 trillion, or almost trillion, it's like 900 billion something, this almost $1 trillion worth of funds would replenish state and local coffers to be able to pay many of the individuals qualifying as heroes their normal wages, right? So that's one thing. But this HEROES Fund is something else. This is the premium pay, the hazard pay, as some people have been calling it. So what's the deal with this HEROES Fund? It's basically a proposed pay increase for essential worker employees. And I'll tell you that 33 occupations, well, I think occupations is probably too narrow a word. I will tell you that 33 fields that would count as essential workers in a bit, but let's go through the math first. So it's $13 an hour premium pay on top of regular wages for up to $10,000, and that $10,000 would include the payroll taxes on the wages, by the way, for work performed from January 27th, 2020, all the way through 60 days after the last day of the COVID-19 public health emergency. So any retroactive amount will be given to you on your next paycheck or two, and then if you haven't hit that $10,000 cap, you would continue to get that premium pay in your future paychecks until you hit that cap, including payroll taxes. The maximum is $5,000, and again, that amount would include the payroll taxes on the wages if you are a highly compensated worker. That means you earn more than $200,000 a year. So in that case, the maximum is $5,000, not $10,000, but I'm going to assume that y'all are not in that category. At least most of you are not in that category, so your max is $10,000. So just some rough math here, and I'm ignoring the fact that payroll taxes count toward the cap as well, so this isn't quite exact. It's a bit back of the napkin, back of the envelope, but just roughly speaking, at $10,000 maximum divided by $13 premium pay gives you 769 hours. It's already been 15 weeks since January 27th approximately, so if you worked 40 hours a week times 15 weeks, that's already 600 hours right there. Another more 4 weeks of full-time employment plus some change, and you've already maxed it. Now, this is kind of morbid, but if you're an essential worker who contracts COVID-19 and passes away, your next of kin would receive the remainder of your premium pay as a lump sum. Employers have to apply for these $10,000 grants, and like I said, these grants will cover not only the wages, but also the payroll taxes, okay? Unused funds must be returned to the Treasury, and employers can't dock your pay as a result of this program. So they can't play stupid games like, oh, well, you made $30 an hour before, but we're only going to pay you $17 an hour now because now the government would kick in $13 an hour, so they can't play games like that, all right? The grants are tax-free to employers, but on the other hand, they can't deduct the wages and payroll taxes paid from the grants they receive. However, for employees, these premium pay amounts are taxable wages, okay? Also, do independent contractors count? I know a lot of you will be asking that question. Here's what the bill says about that. The term essential worker means an individual whose work and duties include essential work, and I will tell you what that means in a minute, whose work and duties include essential work, and who is an employee of an employer or an individual performing any services or labor for remuneration for an employer, regardless of whether the individual is classified as an independent contractor by the employee. Catch that last bit, regardless of whether the individual is classified as an independent contractor by the employer. So yes, independent contractors can be essential workers for purposes of this Heroes Fund. The bill also says that essential workers include individuals regardless of their immigration status. Now, what qualifies as essential work under the proposed Heroes Fund portion of the Heroes Act? Well, first of all, it cannot be work from home telecommuting stuff. It has to be work where there are regular interaction with the public, patients, and or coworkers, or regular physical handling of items that were handled by or are to be handled by the public, patients, and or coworkers. And as I read you the list of 33 fields, you'll kind of see what I mean. Now, here's the list of the 33 fields that the Heroes Act spells out that qualify as essential work. Number 1, first responders, including services in response to emergencies that have the potential to cause death or serious bodily injury. So that would include firefighters, police officers, EMTs, those who work in prisons, those who intervene in domestic violence or child abuse situations. Number 2 is healthcare work physically provided in inpatient settings, including hospitals, nursing homes, inpatient rehab facilities, and other related settings. Number 3 is healthcare work physically provided in outpatient settings, including doctor's offices, community health centers, clinics, and other related settings. Number 4 is pharmacy work, so that's pharmacists, farm techs, etc. Number 5 is any work performed in a facility that performs medical testing and diagnostic services, including laboratory processing, medical testing services, or related activities. Number 6, home and community-based work, including home health care, home health aides, job coaches, or any other provision of care to individuals in their homes by direct service providers. Okay. Number 7, those who work in biomedical research who are researching coronavirus that involves the handling of hazard materials such as COVID-19 samples. Number 8, behavioral health work requiring physical interaction with individuals, including mental health services and substance use disorder prevention, treatment, and recovery services. Number 9, nursing care and residential care work physically provided in a facility. Number 10, family care, including child care services, nanny services, and even, get this, care services provided by family members to other family members. Number 11, social services work, including social work, case management, child welfare, family services, and shelter services. This would also include homeless shelter work, domestic violence shelter work, all that shelter work counts, okay? Number 12, public health work conducted at public health agencies. Number 13, tribal vital services for Native Americans, okay? So this, numbers 1 through 13, they were all kind of related to health, right? But now number 14 is, we start getting into non-health, non-science, non-research related stuff, okay? So number 14, grocery work physically performed at grocery stores, supermarkets, convenience stores, corner stores, drugstores, and similar establishments. Number 15 is restaurant work, including carry-out, drive-through, or food delivery work requiring physical interaction with individuals or food products. Number 16 is food production work involving the physical interaction with food products, including agricultural work, farming, fishing, forestry, ranching, processing, canning, slaughtering, packaging, baking, butchering, and other food production work. Number 17, transportation work. This includes public transportation. It also includes the private transportation of people, such as transportation provided by air, rail, bus, taxi cab, personal car or truck, non-motorized vehicle, or otherwise. It also includes private transportation of goods in bulk, including truck driving, rail, air. It also includes the transportation of mail and the transportation of food or other goods to individuals, including in a personal car or truck, or a non-motorized vehicle, so you deliver food on your bike or scooter, okay, that counts, or otherwise. Passenger rail counts as transportation, such as Amtrak, gotta wear that mask. Air transportation counts, boat transportation. So this is a very, very broad category, this whole transportation category. Number 18, work physically performed in a warehouse or other facility in warehousing. So this is very broad. Picking, sorting, packing, shipping, storage, distribution, call center to facilitate the transportation and delivery of goods, another very broad category. Number 19, cleaning work, including building maintenance, janitorial services, security services, custodial services, repair and maintenance services. Those all count. Number 20 has to do with garbage and waste collection. So the collection, removal, transportation, storage, or disposal of residential, industrial, or commercial solid waste, including recycling. Number 21 is news, okay? So this is work in the gathering, processing, disseminating, and delivery of news and information that serves the public interest to the public through mass media, including television, radio, and newspapers. Number 22, any work that a state, locality, or tribe determines to be essential. Number 3 is educational work, so that's your teachers. It also includes, for example, school nutritional work, other work required to operate a school facility, and this includes early childhood programs all the way through preschool, elementary school, high school, even college. Okay. Number 24 is laundry work. Number 25 is elections work. Number 26 is hazardous materials management, response, and cleanup work, including healthcare waste and testing operations waste, such as cleaning up laboratory testing kits. Number 27 is disinfection work for essential services. Number 28 is work in critical clinical research, development, and testing necessary for the COVID-19 response that includes physical interaction with hazardous materials, such as samples of COVID-19. Number 29 is mortuary, funeral, cremation, burial, cemetery work. You work in one of those, that counts. Number 30 is physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech-language pathology, respiratory therapy, other kinds of therapy where you interact directly with the patient. That all counts. 31 is dental work, 32 is postal service work, and 33 is work at hotel and commercial lodging facilities that are used for COVID-19 mitigation and containment. All right, that's all I have to say. That was a mouthful, okay? That's all I have to say about this Heroes Fund right now. I will be releasing more videos about other aspects of the Heroes Act later today. Remember, the Heroes Act is the big 1,800 page bill that has everything in the kitchen sink in there, okay? This Heroes Fund, this premium pay, is just a small portion of the Heroes Act, so don't get that confused, all right? But remember, of course, that this Heroes Act will not pass as is, okay? But Republicans might be willing to accept bits and pieces of it, okay? And I think that's the best that Democrats can hope for. So I'll be releasing another video within the next few hours about unemployment and what the proposed House bill says about that. So be sure to stay tuned for that, all right? And I will see you then. Bye-bye.